We are 4 minutes away from the start of Heat 1B for the Unlimiteds, Plumbers and Steam Fitters UA Local 598 Unlimited Heat 1B. We've got 5 boats out ready to race, and the boats that'll be racing in Heat 1B, the U5 Graham Trucking, driven by Jeff Bernard.
The U7 Vulcan.com, driven by rookie driver Scott Liddycote, who's been burning up the circuit so far. Second place finish at Detroit in the Gold Cup.
And he is right up there in the National High Point standings for the drivers and the boats as well. U21, Miss Albert Lee, Brian Perkins is the driver.
U22, Great Scott Presents Campaign WSU, Mike Webster from Reading, Pennsylvania.
And the U99, Miss Hapo Community Credit Union. And guess who is driving that boat, Paul? This guy just loves to race boats. It is none other than Mr. Greg Hopp, who was out with the Grand Prix. He ran the U100 last heat, and now here he is again in the 99.
Ryan Mallow is the driver of that boat. He didn't get in enough qualifying laps this morning to get qualified as a driver, so Greg's hopped into the seat, third straight race.
Well, he's not on the course yet, so maybe we will see him, hopefully. This will actually be the boat that Greg drove last year. They've switched around, and he's driving a different boat this year, the U100, a little different configuration, both out of the Fred Leland camp. But the boat that Greg would be appearing in this afternoon, and we still don't see him out on the course 2 minutes and 40 seconds before our start, would be the boat that he raced as the U100 all of last year. Don't see Greg yet, so we will continue to keep an eye on him as you're watching Mr. Jeff Bernard come down the front straightaway, and he's joined by his teammate, and that is Scott Liddycote. And you can see the big 7 on the tail of the Vulcan.com. They are still only about halfway from the exit buoy of turn 2 to the start-finish line.
Ted Porter's team running 3 boats this weekend, the U57, which we saw in the last race, the U5, and the U7.
And these two guys running kind of side by side. Up the backstretch, you're watching Mike Webster, and there's Brian Perkins. Brian's got his boat going real slow. As we said, everybody has to check in. They have to run at least one time across the start-finish line at full speed. Everybody has done that. And so now they just have to mark time. They're about 45 seconds away from that score-up buoy. And I think Brian may have put that boat out of, he may have gone down to ground idle. He's got to re-spool. And now Bernard and Liddycote going to fire up just a little bit. They've got about 30 seconds to kill in order to get now to get to that score-up buoy.
Yeah, Brian is really early down to that score-up buoy. It does not look like Greg Hopp is going to make it out.
I don't think so. He has to be on the course and running at 1 minute, and they're now at minute 16. They're going to be fine for the score-up. The boat leading him through the turn, as you're watching right now, is Brian Perkins. And now the two teammates, Jeff Bernard on the inside and Scott Liddycote on the outside, have come up to speed because they're well behind the score-up. But Brian Perkins has lane number 1 off of that buoy. They're good for score-up. They didn't come past that buoy before 1 minute. Now they have to work their way around the rest of the course in the next 49 seconds. And it does not look like we will have 5 boats out this time, Paul. I think Greg Hopp has not been able to get that boat underway. You're watching Jeff Bernard pacing everybody up. In fact, I think maybe Jeff Bernard has leapfrogged, and he now has lane 1. And Scott Liddycote may have joined him in lane number 2, and that will force Brian Perkins out to lane number 3. Coming up on the, well, let's see, it looks like maybe Mike Webster wants to be in that mix somewhere.
Here he comes.
My gosh, he's going to be on the outside. And it is, in fact, Jeff Bernard in lane number 1 in the Graham Trucking. Next to him, his teammate, Vulcan.com, Scott Liddycote. They're coming down to the start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep, there gets a good start, and it's in fact Mike Webster that leads him across the line from the outside. But on the inside, he's got a lot of speed to his left, including the Graham Trucking on the inside, and the Vulcan.com in lane 2. Brian Perkins in the Albert Lee Appliance in lane number 3. Another traffic jam as they go through that Blue Bridge turn. Looks like everybody has gotten through there cleanly. It's going to be a 2-boat race up the backstretch between teammates. On the outside, it's Scott Liddycote in the Vulcan.com. Right next to him on the inside is Jeff Bernard in the 5-boat, the Graham Trucking. Also in that mix somewhere is Brian Perkins and Mike Webster. got a penalty on the U7, a possible penalty for encroachment on the U7, the Vulcan.com. So we'll see what that is going to, how that's going to turn out as they come on the first of 3 times around west end of the race course. You're looking at the 2 leaders on the race course right now. The inside is the Graham Trucking and Scott Liddycoat in second place, only about 4 lengths behind as they end lap number 1. First across the line, you see him there. The Graham Trucking, the U5. Lane number 3 is Brian Perkins, and lane number 4 is Great Scott Campaign WSU. He's in 4th place, but not that far behind as they head to the Blue Bridge turn on the second of 3 times around. Brian Perkins, 3rd place, lap number 2, and he is out in lane number 3. But it's the Graham Trucking now that has taken the lead. Scott Liddycoat has fallen back about 2/3 of a rooster tail. That's his teammate leading him up the backstretch. Jeff Bernard in the Graham Trucking, the 5 boat. Behind them will be Brian Perkins in the 21. But there is a speedboat, if you ever saw one. Used to be one of the Budweisers. It was the T5, and this is a boat that has as many wins as any other boat in unlimited hydroplane history. It has 24 wins. A win here. It's tied with 2 other older boats. Could be the all-time winningest unlimited hydroplane ever. And that boat right there is the boat I'm talking about, the Graham Trucking, the 5 boat.
And it looks like the penalty on the U7 is not going to cause them to have an extra lap.
Okay, so they're still racing for position. Down into the Blue Bridge turn, a great shot of the 5 boat. Graham Trucking going through that Blue Bridge turn on the white flag lap, followed by Scott Liddycoat in the 7, still in 2nd place. Then on the race course, the penalty will not cost him a lap. Brian Perkins has moved to the inside in that green and white Albert Lee, and he is trying to make up some ground, but he does not have enough time. Your leader, halfway up the backstretch, is the Graham Trucking, the U5, Jeff Bernard, on his way to a victory, half a lap away. He's followed by his teammate. Everybody's strung out about 2 rooster tails behind each other now. Through the final turn for Heat 1B, Jeff Bernard, Graham Trucking. You're looking at the 3rd place boat, Brian Perkins in the Albert Lee, but here comes your heat winner. Checkered flag flies for Jeff Bernard in the U5, the Graham Trucking. 1st place, Heat 1B. Coming across right behind him about 3 seconds later is the Vulcan.com. You see Scott Liddycoat right there. And then here comes Brian Perkins in 3rd place in the U21 Albert Lee Appliance. And not that far behind is the Great Scott Campaign WSU, 4th place. So a nice clean race. Everybody gave everybody else a lot of racing room, and we had a very nice race for about a lap and a half between the teammates, Jeff Bernard and Scott Liddycoat in the Graham Trucking and the Vulcan.com. So the order of finish, the number 5 boat, Graham Trucking, driven by Jeff Bernard, a 1st place finish. Scott Liddycoat in the 7 boat, Vulcan.com, a 2nd place finish. The Albert Lee Appliances, Brian Perkins finishes 3rd. And Mike Webster in the 22, Great Scott presents Campaign WSU, finished 4th. And that's the way they finished in Heat 1B.
And
well,
Mark,
that was a pretty good race.
That was a pretty good race. The U99 did not get out on the course, but we have an update on that for you. Ryan Mallow, who was the scheduled driver, was able to get in his qualifying laps this morning. You need to get 15.